Hello, Janice.
Hello, Anthony.
Today is going to be a fun one. We're going to talk about amateur executor bloopers. I wish I had some of those funny slide whistle noises and stuff like that. So my brother actually mentioned that the real life anecdotes were the most useful, or he thought they would be the most useful to our listeners. So let's see if that holds true. So we're going to share some anonymized for the protection of our clients, but a real life examples based on things that we've actually done. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Sorry. Today we'll discuss choosing a disappearing banker, the case of the missing $10,000 check, and then, of course, taxes.
Yeah. So again, these are all loosely for anonymity based on actual situations we've dealt with recently, and the whole point here is to sort of showcase what happens when these are all cases where I am not the executor. I'm the attorney for an individual who's an executor who hasn't done it before, and just kind of some of the problems that can come up. People often wonder, why don't I just name my buddy or my wife or my kid as the executor? Sometimes that works out, but sometimes you get situations like these.
And this is why.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. So first, the case of the disappearing banker. All right. When we're in charge, we have contacts at the banks. We know who we work with, and we have long-term relationships with these bankers. So what does that mean? We can pick a good banker, not a lemon or not a dud. And even if we get stuck in a situation that's sticky and our banker would otherwise kind of be tempted to walk away and ignore us, because we have these long-term relationships with them and they want to keep doing business with us, they have to take care of us.
Yeah.
That's not so much the case with sort of one-off transactions, and I'll talk about this situation. So our client, who, again, she's the executor, not me. I asked her, listen, why don't I set up the account for you, the estate account, because this is a good time to really solidify that relationship with the banker who we're going to need for a lot of things, such as getting back statements, getting date of death valuations, making sure transactions go through smoothly. And we really want to make sure we pick a good one and we have a good, relationship for the next couple of months. But that's not what happened. The client decided, I have a bank. I'll just mention the brand. This is a Chase. So there's a Chase right near my office. So I'll just walk into the closest one during lunch break. This is before lockdowns, and I'll take care of it. I was like, we pushed back a little bit, but ultimately that's what she did. Fine. So what happened where, Janice, what were some of the problems that came up with this account? Do you remember?
So specifically, so you know how it works. I don't know if our clients do, but you close the personal account, you open an estate account. Yeah. So usually that balance transfers over to the other. And for the sake of, again, being anonymous, one account was closed with, let's say, $1,000, but then the other account was open with $500. So where's the missing link there, right? That was one. We're missing statements. Yep. And
I know these sound like little, sort of almost smaller issues, but at the end of the whole estate process, we need to account for every dollar and cent. Otherwise, the court, the IRS, and especially the beneficiaries, it's their money, right?
Absolutely,
are going to, have the torches and pitchforks out waiting, saying, where's my money? What happened to that $500? Why is this statement missing? So we need this information. And what happened here? Were we able to get this information from that banker?
Nope. The banker has since disappeared, thin air. And this was before, our recent events. We're talking, late last year and just gone.
So unresponsive to phone calls, emails, is that right?
Everything. Phone calls, emails, letters, just gone. And then, of course, I'm sure you'll talk about this, other bankers don't want to fix the problem that one might have caused because
so let's talk about the incentives. Basically, in most banks, you get paid based on accounts opened, right? That's the incentive, opening the account. Not so much servicing it throughout the life, but getting that account opened. So why would another banker service our account when they never got compensated on it, right? And then also, once the account is open, the incentive to help us is really low. It's time to move on to the next account, open the next account. Right. So you really got to have that long-term relationship or get everything you need done right at the beginning. And I'm sure there's a large number of responsible professional bankers who do a good job despite the way these incentives are set up. But we're all human beings too, right? If I'm a banker and I have 2 new large accounts that I need to open, and I have Janice calling me for something that was an account that I opened months ago, like, you're on the bottom of the pile, you know?
Yep. Very low on that totem pole.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about the next one. It's actually the same case. So, yeah. In addition to the problems we mentioned, the missing banker closed a retirement account for over $10,000 and supposedly transferred it into the estate account, but there's no record of that. So we are literally missing $10,000, and we have nowhere to, how does that look, basically? So,
right. Right.
When our executor attempts to explain this to the court, to the IRS, and to the heirs, you can't just point your finger at the banker. It's all on you as the executor. So Janice, they say you shouldn't just deliver bad news. You should, otherwise our listeners are going to leave feeling bad. How are we going to solve this? Just, what's the extra work, billable work that we have to get paid to do to fix this?
Oh, it's pretty extraordinary because, like we said, we're still trying to track down the missing banker. And then from there, since that's not working, now we have to go higher up in the food chain of bankers there, try to go to the boss, who then has to backtrack, right, and go all the way back to whenever it happened, which in this case was over a year ago, and start tracking things down. So every phone call we make, right, unfortunately, it racks up the bill even higher. But we're all just trying to fix the one issue that really must be fixed.
And how would have this been different if we were the ones who had closed the account or worked with one of our bankers?
Well, I mean, when someone says, "Oh, I'm going to close it out, but I'll send you the check or I'll let you know," I probably wouldn't have left there until it was all in hand and everything was, because we know we have to have a paper trail, right? Yep. Everything has to add up in the end. So we know that end game to be able to sit there when we open it to know exactly what we need at that point.
Yeah, I've noticed in this, and by the way, our client is a really, really bright woman. She's an attorney, just not an estate attorney. She's generally pretty organized. So this is not an indictment of her. It's not like, it's just a bad client. It's just estates can be messy, and not even the smartest and sharpest person doesn't necessarily foresee all that. They expect competence on the other side.
Right, on the bank. Now, and I know we're using this one case, but you and I both know this is just because we happen to be using this case because it's recent, but this has happened before with other banking institutions.
Oh, are you thinking? Did you help me with that one where we couldn't get the stock sold? Were you helping on that one last time?
That was fun. That was super.
All right, I don't want to go off on a tangent. Let's jump into our last example.
Another podcast, right?
Another example where another amateur executor blooper is the taxes.
Whoops.
So we got an email this week, about 10 days before the tax deadline, from a client who is the executor. Again, we are just supporting this executor as attorney, saying, I forgot. I have this email from March. So what is that? 4 months ago?
Yeah.
From the CPA saying there's a whole list of information he needs to do the taxes. Can you? By the way, he was totally acknowledged that it was his fault. He dropped the ball.
Oh yeah.
But there's a bunch of information we need in 10 days to do the taxes. So what should we do? So the answer is, in 10 days during a lockdown, getting a bunch of 1099s and tax documents from financial institutions for a decedent. Again, that's always a twist that the banks enjoy. It's going to be a mad scramble. There's going to be a lot of billing, and in all likelihood, we're not going to get all the information we need in time. So we're going to have to extend, which is not necessarily great. So I don't know. Just another example of the amateur executor hour.
Right. But again, I think that's where, when you do it professionally, we know the end game, right? When the taxes are due. So you start months and months and months before then collecting all of this, right? We know immediately when you take on a case, boom, let's go, 1099s, we know what to do.
Yeah.
Because we've done it. Unfortunately, as wonderful as our clients are and the executive, they don't know how to do it. It's just not their normal job, right?
And they have their own lives to lead. They have their own jobs. This is our job,
Right, right.
Also, by the way, on this one, I also noticed in the email chain that the CPA was charging a pretty high rate. And at first I was like, oh, what's he doing? Trying to, run up the bills. And then I realized, oh, he realizes that he's getting a lot of headaches from this kind of messy amateur executor.
Right.
He's billing accordingly.
But I think he's billing really high for
the headaches, basically, of dealing with an amateur. Yeah.
Right, right. Which again is more money taken out of the estate before it gets to go, to those who inherit it.
Yeah. Well, those are just 3 recent examples of, bloopers. I'm trying to keep it funny, bloopers caused by non-professional executors can be avoided if you hire a pro. But I guess another point is that even working with an experienced attorney, and I like to think I'm pretty experienced at this, there's only so much I can do. I can't hold your hand and walk you to the bank and make you do things a certain way.
We can certainly try and provide you with lots of information, but it's only so much.
I often get that question, like, oh, can't I just name, cousin Bubba as the executor, and then as long as he hires a really good attorney, it's good. I'm like, well, it's better than just cousin Bubba by himself, but
sure,
there's still a lot of situations and room for the amateur to make a lot of time-consuming mistakes. So that's the point of this episode.
So I recommend, after all of our bloopers for the non-professionals, How to Hire an Executor. Your book, available on Amazon, will give you a lot more insight and maybe try to help avoid some of these bloopers, right?
I hope so. And yeah, we're going to sort out all these problems. We're going to make sure our clients are good to go, but totally avoidable is the point.
Yes. Oh, we've been working on them very diligently for the past few days, and we'll continue to.
All right. Well, that's all for today. Thanks, Janice, and thank you, everyone, for listening.
Talk soon.
Bye now.